My name is Gianna Tate. I'm a receiver and safety at Ralston Valley High School, and it's time to sing some flag football in Colorado.
Hello, everyone. It is your host for this episode, Cody Stauffer, here with the Playmakers Corner podcast, and I am so excited for the guest that we have today in the continuance of this interview series here. If you'd like to introduce yourself, where you're from, where you've played football, and the positions that you've played, the audience would be delighted to know.
Hi, I'm Gianna Tate. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I play at Ralston Valley High School. I'm a receiver and safety.
Making tons of plays this past season. This was RV's inaugural season of flag, was it not?
Yes, it was just the beginning.
Just the beginning. That's what we love to hear, and you were integral to that season and how that played out, but we'll double back to that in just a second. But kind of the bridge, I think, between the listeners and current athletes here is the listeners are basically current fans here, and a lot of us in athletics grew up watching sports and stuff like that. So I guess the first question that we have for you here is, what is your favorite sport viewing experience or experience as a fan? This could be a game that you've watched in person at any age or any level, high school, college, professional, or this could be a game that you saw on television that really just held true to you and, really stuck with you. And this doesn't just have to be football. This could be any sport. And I would like to let the listeners know we are listening to this on February 16th, 2024 is when this is being recorded. You might be listening to this at a later date, but as of yesterday, Caitlin Clark becoming the all-time leader in NCAA points. That was an exciting one. So we'll have to hear what you got for us.
So I come from a very competitive family. I have 3 older brothers, so I have had sports all my life, but specifically football has always stood out to me. It's such an amazing and beautiful sport. It's played with passion and love, but I would say watching my brother Rocco play A West. He was a football player at Wheat Ridge at the time. They went into 3 overtimes with them, going back and forth, and just seeing the determination of each team fighting with all their brothers on the field, going into battle, fighting till the last second, inches of the game to win it all. But seeing my brother score the final touchdown was an awesome memory to experience and to watch. But it was just super cool because I knew how much it meant to him and his team.
And that's a high bar to set for you watching that. A triple overtime. What an exhausting. I think overtime in any sport is obviously exhausting, but man, there's just something about football. It's like, man, we got to go out there again. Holy.
Yep, it's a game of inches.
Exactly. So that's nice to hear that there's some familiarity in there. And yeah, I guess, this is a little bit, I'm already jumping off the script that I prescribed to you before the interview here, but I guess what's kind of the involvement of football in your family and what's kind of the history there?
So my dad grew up playing football. He got a scholarship to go play. But he went and took his offer for baseball instead. So that definitely has started up our family. But my brothers, they played football since they were babies. They loved it. We took it seriously. They were always the studs on the field. My dad was always their coach. So it was an awesome experience, to be all together watching the boys. But 2 of my brothers, they went and played college out in California at Laverne University for about a year, but they came home due to a family emergency. But they had a good time, and it was awesome playing at the next level.
So rich history here, and I don't know how familiar you are with Simon. He's one of our other co-hosts here and showrunner with us. He is not a baseball guy, so it's going to break his heart to hear that your pops chose baseball over football. But, opportunity is opportunity. But, sounds like a very rich football history in the family. And,
Yes.
It sounds like you've had some kind of examples to look at, not too far, obviously in the same household as far as people to kind of get into football with. But are there any other athletes that you think you might have modeled your game after growing up? And this could be, once again, athletes from any sport that you respect and have garnered that, or, these could be college, high school, NFL players that have also been like, oh, you know what? I want to score touchdowns like them or something like that.
I have a lot of inspirations and a lot of people I look up to, no matter if they're famous and they're athletes, but specifically my brothers and my dad, they set the high bar for me. I always looked up to them, always, if I'm doing bad on the field or having a rough practice or a rough game, I always know that I need to show them that I got it, and it means a lot what they think about me, and I know they got my back on everything. But I think I would say Lamar Jackson as of right now. I love how players bring in faith to the sport. It really sticks out to me, and I think that's a big key. They don't just show too much of all the popularity and all that stuff. They go and play their game, but they're also being a good guy, given to their community and doing the good deeds in life.
Kind of that off-field and on-field kind of action for you.
Yes.
And it also helps that he's definitely dominant. And as of right now, the best at what he does, according to the polls and that MVP award. So that's not a bad that's not a bad example to go off of.
Yes, for sure.
And we're gonna have a chance to go more in depth with this season. It sounds like you got memories galore, of course, but we kind of want to know, what was your favorite memory playing sports, either from this past season or any other, participation in sports prior?
I think this season for flag football, it was a new sport to me. Football it's always been a part of my life, but for me to be able to experience it on my own and actually play it as my sport, it was awesome. I really enjoyed it, and for having it the first year at Ralston Valley was pretty special to me to lead the girls and be a leader on the team. But I think my favorite memory would probably be playing Chatfield, getting to the semifinals to play Cherry Creek. It was just such a big game, and it was quick. It was intense. I did make the game-winning touchdown, so I will always remember that. It was a very special play for me, but just super exciting to know that me and the girls went to battle and we were fighting for that state title. But we did fall a little bit short, but it was a good game with those girls.
Hard to beat game-winning touchdowns for personal memories. And that game was a very crazy game. And, oddly enough, I've interviewed Zoe, and she spoke very highly of that game as well. So, and the best memory has got to be one that you win, too. I mean, of course, right? Of
course. Yep.
And, you were an athlete who made plays on both sides of the football here, and we kind of want to get almost your sales pitch for yourself. What makes Gianna Tate's game so unique? Or what are some qualities or abilities that you think you have that separate you from other athletes in flag football, whether that's in, this state or across the country?
Me personally, I take the game very seriously. I play like how I'm going to play on the game field as how I would as the practice field. So I have a good outcome either way. Always working hard, always making sure we're focused. Focusing on the little things, because every play does count, and that's how you win. I do think on each play and each drive, it's very important because that's what's going to lead up to the game, the points and everything. So me as a player, I would say all the little things are a bit different. I focus more on specific things and not like everything else, especially on like defense. I got to know who I'm going up against. You got to keep your eyes on the quarterback. You got to make sure what defense you're lined up in, and then offense, you got to know where you're attacking and what competition and what level you're going against that specific girl.
Yeah, you got to be definitely mentally sharp to succeed and aware of your assignments. And, the intensity that you bring and the focus that you bring is going to make a huge difference. And that's going to help you grow a lot faster than some other players that maybe aren't as engaged or locked in. I'm really surprised that you didn't mention just your lateral quickness here. I think that that's something that was very apparent to anybody watching you this season, and, just all the big plays that you were able to make throughout the season. And, we weren't able to make it out every week, but, we saw a handful of Ralston Valley flag football, and a lot of it was very entertaining. And
Yes.
I feel like you guys had a lot of exciting games this season. And, I'm actually going to jump into, this past season here and just kind of ask, what was, the season like from the perspective of a player who was actually in the huddle and everything like that? The highs, the lows, if there was anything kind of wild, weird, or wacky or anything like that happened. Just feel free to kind of take us through sequentially any highlights or lowlights throughout the season and what you guys were able to kind of learn and take away from each of those wins or losses.
In the beginning, I personally, I think a lot of the girls on the team, it was more of like for fun. It was Ralston Valley's first year coming in. We weren't thinking that much. I was one of like the first ones to go to our summer camps, and not a lot of girls actually would show up. So it was definitely like we were thinking about like, oh, how's the season gonna turn out? What girls are we gonna get? What the level of talent is going to be. But as the summer went on, we had our practices and some little trainings. But the season started up, and we had talent on the team. We had girls that wanted to come play football. Everyone had the same mindset. We all wanted to win, and our goal the whole year was to go and make it to the state game. So just as the practices went on and when games started to come around the corner, us girls got ready. But it was different. You gotta think there's outside drama that comes involved. You got to be able to lead your team as a captain. Me and Addison Codwell, we made sure things didn't get in between us. We all needed to play strong together on the field, and we couldn't let other things affect it. But definitely, in the huddle, it's intense. You think about things that it's game time. You're getting down to the nitty gritty. You're getting in playoffs. Everything's starting to get serious. But our team, we were always on task, always worked hard, and us girls, we wanted to play football, and that's all that mattered.
Yeah, that's obviously a lot to, be the pioneer for a program, and the weight that comes with that, and getting everyone locked in is really serious. And I guess, since you've mentioned your leadership, I guess, what did that leadership role mean to you as an individual, and what was kind of your philosophy around leadership, and how did you try and exemplify that for the team?
As I was saying, growing up with football, I have just loved the sport, everything about it. So being a captain and leading my team on the football field was super important to me, and every game counted for me. I always wanted to win. I didn't take losing as an option. So I got our girls ready the best way possible I can, because I needed my girls around me to get their job done, so then all of us can get our job done in order to win. But definitely just leading the girls, it was an amazing thing to do at Ralston Valley.
And obviously, we talked about it before the interview. You are in your senior year here. And I guess, what are some lessons that you hope some of the younger players kind of take from this season? And who, if any, are some of the players coming up next season that we should keep an eye out for?
Just to grow the sport, it's a new sport, and I feel like it's developing quickly. And just to take it seriously. Don't just think as it as like, girls flag football. But I would definitely just have it keep growing, and it's getting very important. And the girls, they definitely just have to step up. There's new roles on the football team now since some people are leaving, so people need to be leaders on and off the field, and they need to carry their girls to go get that state title here at RV.
Yeah, no, we're excited to see what that performance kind of looks like next year. And, you've kind of spoken to it that taking it seriously is a big deal. And, as a podcast we've been kind of keeping an eye on the college scene a little bit, and we've been seeing this sport sanctioned kind of across the United States here, and it's growing really rapidly. And I mean, if you had to make, like a point or a plea or what have you on the importance of flag football being a sanctioned sport, I guess kind of what would that look like, and why is it important that flag football does become a sanctioned sport here in Colorado?
It gives us girls opportunities. It's a great sport for girls to get involved, and I think it's an awesome game that a lot of girls over the country can participate in. It's physical, it's fun, it's fast. I think any girl that would want to do it would love it.
Yeah, football is for everyone, and I am so excited to see that Colorado even started this program here. And, we're definitely trying to push and put that pressure on CHSAA, and, we're going to keep it up until we know for sure that it's coming
Yes.
back in the fall, because, I mean, we've got the absolute best opportunity to go to the state tournament these past few years and catch a couple of the jamborees kind of week in and week out, best we could, pending the schedule not being posted online. So we've done our best here, but we would love to cover it, for the duration of the season and follow these storylines and just stay engaged and in tune. And, speaking about these storylines and trying to promote a little bit here on things that, we're trying to manifest to look forward to next season. Who were some of your favorite matchups from this past season, whether it was, an individual that you got to rep against, if you were, at that position on defense, if there were any wide receivers that, kind of pushed and challenged you and they were fun to battle against, or, if you were on the offensive side making plays, any defenses or defensive players that kind of pushed you. What were some of those players, whether it's numbers or players from teams that you thought kind of stuck out to you?
Specifically, going against the defending state champs, that's a lot to take in, especially at playoffs and at state at the Broncos facility. It was pressure, but it was also excitement. Hearing that they were the state defending champs and knowing that we're only 2 games away to the state game, it made me want it more and to win more. I was super excited to play them, and how the game came out. It was competition. They gave us competition. We had to work at it, and as a team, we went through it. And like I said, winning that game, winning touchdown, that was also a real moment. So that was super awesome. But after that game, Creek was big too. I just feel like those were more of the games that were more competition, the next level. The best in Colorado were up there, so it was more competition for me and my team to show our talent on the field. But we've never met and played A West, so I wish I could play Arvada West, being it my senior year, knowing what girls they have on their team and stuff like that. I would love to compete against them, but it stinks that we didn't meet them, but I wish we definitely did.
Man, you were ahead of the curve, because my very next question was if there's anybody that you didn't get to play against that you wish you did. So you jumped the shark on that one. And yeah, I mean, that's a special squad. And anytime you get to push yourself and see if you can compete with the best of the best, especially, from this past year with A West winning it all. I mean, if you guys got to play both the defending and, current champions or contest it, that's obviously a huge thing just from a competitor standpoint. And I love the competitive edge that you even reference. Even in this interview, I can kind of feel how competitive you are even through the Skype call here. So I got to respect that kind of a Mamba mentality a little bit going on. And, speaking of some of your teammates as well, obviously it's definitely a team sport. Arguably more than any other sport. I mean, that's a point that can be contested for sure. But, being a football podcast, I have to spread my propaganda here. And I just kind of want to pick your brain a little bit here on some teammates or, players that you interacted with in the offseason that made an impact on your game and what that impact was.
Definitely my QB, Zoe. Me and her had a chemistry right off the bat. Me and her, we would stay up, we would draw some plays out, always talking about games, what we can do better, what we have to do, what defense we're going against, what plays we could do, what corners she can hit me on. Definitely we had very strong chemistry, and I loved playing on the field with her. It was awesome. I knew she would always give me the ball. I had no doubts. I always trusted her. I had very good athlete. I loved her as my QB. I also want to talk about my running back and my DB, Addison Codwell. She was one of our top dogs too. I loved playing with her. She was fierce. She wanted it just as much as me. She was one of my captains, so I got to lead the team with her and be successful with her. She was quick. She was aggressive, so I loved the attitude from her, and it was just a blast. My safety, Carmen, we knew what to do in the backfield. We always were aware and always helped each other out. We knew what girls would go deep, what people would fly up top. So just the people right next to me, all the girls, I always trusted and felt confident no matter if I had to go up and make a play. I knew someone would be in the backfield, get my back or anything. So definitely was comfortable and knew I could take battle with every girl on my team.
I mean, a team doesn't get as far as y'all do without everyone pitching in a play here or there, obviously. And y'all had some very special athletes and some very special ones returning to the fold again this fall as well. So we're excited to see them. And, we're excited to see what y'all's next step is in the class of 24. But before we kind of look ahead to the future, I just kind of want to get a gauge on kind of the community surrounding Rowson Valley and the support from that Arvada area for y'all's flag football team. Did you feel like people were coming out and, if they were, kind of what energy did they bring to them and what was so unique about it?
We would always have a crowd. Our family members and our friends from each player we would have a good turnout. Everyone was very supportive. Our community helped us. I'd walk in the halls of my school, getting asked when my games are, how my games are going by staff, teachers, students. So it was super fun to be able to, we actually hosted a tournament up at Rowson Valley up on the turf. So a lot of fans came out, and it's super awesome, seeing the community out there supporting us. It makes you feel good. It makes you want to play more. It makes you want to put on a show specifically. But seeing my dad and my brothers and my mom and all my family, jumping up and down, specifically at state, it makes you feel good, especially I look so high up to them. I always want to do the best in front of them. So it makes you feel super good.
So from the sounds of it, there's also the community support for flag football to continue going on.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Hey, anybody at Chastity, hope you're taking notes. Everybody wants it, so you better deliver. But that's awesome to hear that. And I felt like, at the contest that I was able to attend, I felt like that Rowson Valley fan section was always rowdy. And then especially at state, I mean, holy cow, the energy there was absolutely electric at that final tournament.
Yep, especially it was close games. So we went into overtime with Creek. That was pretty intense. So, the jitters, it's scary. But, after the first snap, the first play, I'm always in game mode, and I wanted it.
Yeah, and it was super back and forth. And, like you said, you played a handful of close games, and I guess heading into that state tournament, obviously there were regionals the week prior and setting up the seeding, and I'd also kind of lump those into this question. Granted, the state tournament a little bit different, but how would you describe kind of those playoff environments, and I guess what was different about it for either you as an individual or y'all as a team kind of heading into these big tournaments that really were do or die?
Looking back on regionals, we got worked by Valor. Their offense came out strong. Our defense, we weren't ready. We haven't faced a team, I feel like, that we can compete with. So it definitely was a turn for all of us, including myself. I wasn't playing my A game that game, but they definitely came out hard to play, and us they brought it all. But looking back on it, during that game, us as a team, we kind of fell apart. We kind of secluded ourselves and played our individual game, and I feel like that's what mainly affected us. We were so focused on that they, were scoring the touchdowns back and forth on us, but we just needed to get back and go score. Defense wins games, but we sadly couldn't held them. But after that game and practices following that, it really turned our team around for the better, and that's when we came into state fierce, and we were ready. We were hungry. We did not like how we lost that game. I think it was actually pretty good for me and my team, because we got hungry and we went to work that weekend.
Sharpen you up for practice. Yeah, no, you obviously, it's more fun to win, but you probably learn more when you lose is kind of the solution I've come to.
It's good to get that one loss, because it definitely turns you players around, and the taste of it's not good. So
yeah, no one likes to lose. And was that game at Thunder Ridge High School? Were you guys at those regionals?
No, it's actually at 6th and Kipling.
At 6th and Kipling. Okay, so I must have seen another Ralston Valley squad play another Valor squad.
Yes, our JV faced them.
No, y'all really played the same matchups across 2 tournaments.
Yep.
Oh man, that's nuts, honestly. So I bet maybe Gideon was at that one, but I was like, wait a second, I could have sworn I saw a Ralston Valley Valor game. Because I was trying to watch all 3 games at the same time. I'm assuming that they kind of had the same setup over at y'all's regionals. But I was like, wait, they're both wearing white and blue, and I can't read the letters from here, so I had no idea what.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah, we were Navy, and our other JV squad, they have different jerseys, but we were up at 6th and Kipling. The small football field that's next to the big stadium.
Trailblazer?
Yes, Trailblazer. Yes.
Okay. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that I have that all sorted out, and my memory gets a little fogged up sometimes. So I appreciate you clarifying that. And yeah, it sounds like Gideon was at that one. And I mean, to be able to take those lessons though and turn that into fire for the next week, and I would say also perform that next week. Obviously, didn't go entirely the way that you wanted it to, but I mean, still put in some pretty impressive efforts at that state tournament.
For sure. We went into that weekend hungry, and we knew we needed one job to get done. Sadly, we came up short due to a play in overtime versus Creek, a call. But, what can you do? But definitely that weekend up at regionals definitely turned us into a different team for sure. You could tell that none of us girls liked it whatsoever, and my coaches were amazing. My coaches didn't like that either, so we only got better from that point forward.
Absolutely, and put in some impressive performances for us to take notes on and recap in the following weeks. And we're looking forward to the future of RV flag football here. And, we're also curious on maybe what the future looks like for Gianna Tate here. I mean, we kind of talked a little bit before the segment, and you don't have to name drop or anything like that, but also feel free to as well. I guess kind of what does the future look like for you, whether that's academically, athletically, or, in any realm?
So I do have an offer from William Woods University. It's out in Missouri. I'm not for sure if I'm going to take that offer up yet. I do have a liver disease. I've had this health issue since I was a baby, so I do have to be careful of impact or jarring into my stomach. So definitely a big thing in my life. But I will have to see if I can do that, because it's the next level. It's more competitive, more physical. I do love the game. I would love to go play at the next level, but some things I do need to think about in my future. I definitely do want to go do something in sports, maybe like sports journalism, sports medicine. I just love the atmosphere and I love everything about it. So I'm hoping to do something in the future.
Hey, hopefully by the time that you're working on that degree, hopefully we're big enough here at the podcast to utilize your talents in sports journalism and stuff like that. Gonna go down to our anchor here, Gianna Tate.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm familiar with William Woods. I think that that coach is recruiting very, very well here in the state of Colorado. So
Yes.
hopefully this is the first of many offers and athletes that we see kind of going to that next level. And I know that there's some movement on some higher classifications, and as well as like the NCAA, there's got to be some pressure. And I guess what's your just raw reaction to finding out that there's opportunities to play flag football on the college level and seeing that flag football is going to be like an Olympic sport? I mean, for me, I never would have thought I'd seen the day.
Right. It gives girls opportunities all over the country, but me, I was super shocked, especially Robson Valley's first year. I never really thought about the sport being so big and so awesome. I was super excited to be able to play football myself. But I think it's amazing. It gives us girls opportunities. It's a fun, passionate, hardcore game, and I feel like every girl is super excited for it growing, and I hope CHASA does sanction it. I think that will be awesome. And it's just getting bigger and bigger by time goes, and I'm super excited to see where it goes for these young athletes.
As are we. And I mean, if they don't sanction it, I mean, you're just going to end up behind the 8 ball here, because flag football is here whether anyone thinks it is or not. It is not going away anytime soon. It's picking up a head full of steam, and we too are very excited for what the future could hold in flag.
Yes.
And, let me know if I'm crossing any lines here, but I guess I kind of want to, you mentioned that you've had to battle some health issues as well. What has that meant to you as an athlete? Because, I mean, in that regard, you're not only representing, girls and women in sport, but you're also, representing to a degree physical and health ailments. And what kind of adaptations have you had to make that you think are a little bit different than your average athlete?
It definitely was different. I do live a normal, perfectly happy, healthy life, but in sports, I did have to be, held back a little bit more than other people can. I'm very athletic, very competitive. I love everything about it, but I did have to be extra careful growing up. I couldn't play any impact sports, so it definitely sucked, but I have a severe disease, but it has only shaped me into a better person. My faith, I'm very blessed. My family has been through it all with me. It has been a hurdle in my life for sure, but I'm doing good, thank God. I'm healthy, I'm happy, and I'm just blessed to be able to play the sport that I love.
And I appreciate you sharing that and, battling through that and, even risking a little bit here to play flag football and provide us the opportunity to cover you and, kind of give you this platform as well. I appreciate you sharing that, and as well as everything else that you shared with us on this interview.
Yes, of course. I'm tough. I wanted to play. I wanted to lead my girls. Didn't want to hold back. I know my limits, but I could I could do it.
And that leadership that you continue to come back to, it makes me a little curious. Do you think that there's a timeline or a future that potentially exists where you might give back to flag football in the form of coaching as opposed to playing?
Yes, I actually have thought about it. My coach from Ralston Valley this year actually has reached out to me. He'd love for me to come um, and work with him. I will probably be staying local for college if I do not take the offer. So it's definitely something I'm looking forward to go help Ralston Valley and just bring home that state title back home to the home.
And I mean, there's probably only going to be more and more programs popping up. So having somebody who was a part of, a debut season and helping, potentially pilot programs that might pop up and be looking for experience, I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yes, I would love to be a part of the team and to be able to compete with all these teams across Colorado and be a part of a sport that's CHASA sanctioned. So I just hope to see the game grow for these young girls. But I would love to compete with the teams that I competed with. This I will be able to coach the girls and be able to lead them in the right path.
Yeah, and I think that if you lend a hand, with that RV coaching staff and they get to play A West, you almost get to play them like through an extension of yourself, right? So, not
Yes,
quite getting to
exactly.
compete on the field against, but, it's like one of the players on defense that you coached up got a pick, you'd be like, yeah, yeah, I helped with that.
I could have done that.
Yeah, exactly. And
I'll have to hop in.
yeah, I was about to say that's the hardest part where you're coaching is just like, oh, I know what I want them to do and I want to just
Yep.
hop in there. But
Come on, do this and that. Yep.
yeah. They just they frown for some reason. It's frowned upon to be a whole adult jumping into a game with people who are still growing and figuring things out. So I guess I'll take it easy on the freshman squad, JV or
Just a
varsity,
little
whatever you
bit.
call it. And with that in mind, and with your ability to give back and lead, and this could be for yourself, this could be a generic statement for anybody kind of up and coming and listening, whether it's middle school or high schoolers or something. But what advice would you give either to up and coming players, or if you had a time machine and you could go back and talk to yourself, whether that's about athletics or just navigating high school in the classroom or relationships, friendships, or recruitment in any other kind of athletic endeavor, what would you kind of pass along there?
Just be a student athlete, stay healthy and fit, work hard towards your sport, but also keep your head in the books. That is the most important part, because you got to think about your future too. Um, but with the sport, you got to work hard. You got to be able to want it. You got to fight for it. You got to be able to build teamwork and a sisterhood to be able to go to battle with all of them. Most importantly, have fun, but having that winning mentality and being able to be a leader on and off the field and to guide your team.
I can only echo all of that sentiment here for our younger listeners here, and hope that they take away some of this advice as they continue to push this sport forward and, you know, just continue to be a spark here. And for you, I guess, what does it mean to you, especially should this be sanctioned and take off? What does it mean to you to be in part of an inaugural season, a debut season for a program, and also be a part of just the second ever flag football season in Colorado? What does that mean to you, and how does that, get you fired up to inspire the community?
Just being a part of it. I'm so blessed to be able to have the chance to be able to play. And having my senior year finish it off at Ralston Valley, our first senior year there. It's honestly incredible to be able to play the game that I hold so much love for. But it's super. I'm super blessed, and it's a very cool thing to have it to think back on my life every day.
And we are so grateful for the opportunity to, witness what you've contributed and to have that opportunity, and for the opportunities that were provided. And, in the spirit of gratitude and getting towards the end of this interview here, we believe that, just like winning a football game, it takes a team not only in that regard, but also to produce, a wonderful person such as yourself and the athletes that we get a chance to talk to. And so we want to give you the time to pass along the thanks to anyone who's been important to you, whether that's academically, athletically, and just give you a chance to thank them on the show, friends, family, coaches, fellow players, and the works here. And feel free to take as much time as you need for these shout outs.
Most importantly, I want to thank God. He's blessed me with such a beautiful life and to be able to play the sport that I love. But I would love to thank my coaches and my girls, always pushing me at practices and at games. They knew I took it seriously, so they always knew when not to talk to me because I would always be in game mode. But I appreciated everything they have done for me. My coaches have taught me to be the best, to always play my game. Don't worry about everything. Just play your game, and every play matters. But I do want to thank my family. I'm so blessed to have them in my life. They've done everything for me, no matter taking me to my practices when I was little, making sure I'm eating, making sure I'm staying healthy, going over the playbook with my dad. He drew up a couple plays for Ralston Valley this year, some game-winning plays too. So I'm super thankful that I can spend that special moment with my dad and my brothers, always pushing me to be the best, working out with me, making sure I'm learning the right motions and, all that. And my mom for always being there for me. But I'm super blessed. I adore my family so much, and I'm so glad they're behind my back through it all.
Shout out to your supporting cast and everyone who's been important to them. And we would like to pass along our thanks and our gratitude to that same community that is behind the Gianna Tate story here. And, we're very excited for whatever the next chapter is for you here. And, whether that's us covering you playing flag football in the future, or whether that's us maybe collaborating on the coverage of flag football. Either way, sounds good to us. And just want to say thank you so much once again for hopping on the show with us.
I thank you so much, Cody. It was an honor being on here, and thank you for reaching out.
Yes, and shout out to Coach as well for passing along that information and making sure that we got these interviews squared away.
Yes.
Continuing to grow the sport and continuing to just grow football as an entirety, both flag and tackle. Whatever is good for one is good for both, honestly. So, and thank you for being a part of that history or that herstory in Colorado football and just Colorado in general.
Yes, thank you.
And to keep track here of not only Gianna's story, but as well as other interviews of flag football players and college flag football and all your Colorado football needs, be sure to follow us anywhere that you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, where we also upload these to YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe, follow, and turn on notifications for any and all of those situations here. And on top of that, be sure to give us a follow, whether that's at Playmaker Corner on Twitter /X or at Playmakers Corner on TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram. Gianna, are you trying to build up a NIL presence? Are there any socials where the people can find you?
You can just reach me on Instagram.
There you go. Keep an eye out on that. And, we'll probably you're definitely going to be tagged whenever this is posted. So probably just take a look at the post itself and continuing to support football in every way that you can. And thank you, listeners, for all of your time, dedication, and support for our show here. And be sure to push the sanctioning of Colorado flag football. Make sure to echo that to your schools. Make sure to have your students push for that. And make sure that CHSAA hears this message loud and clear to sanction flag football here in Colorado. But I have been your host for this episode, Cody Stauffer, signing off.